Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular meeting. Councillor Windsor was unable to join us this evening due to prior commitments, and Councillor Crowley is representing the town in presenting the two scholarships tonight over at Roncalli. So she will be doing that on behalf of the town's part. So before we start the agenda, there's a proclamation here which I'll be proud to read out on your behalf. And it's proclamation regarding Recreation Month. Whereas the community of the town of Holyrood recognizes that recreation enhances quality of life, active living, and lifelong learning, helps people to live happier and longer, develops creativity, and builds healthy bodies and positive lifestyles. And whereas recreation provides opportunities for personal growth and development for people of all abilities and can be especially helpful to people living with disabilities. And whereas our parks, open spaces, and trails ensure ecological sustainability, provide space to enjoy nature, help maintain clean air and water, and preserve plant and animal wildlife. And whereas recreation is an important contributor to community economic development, which creates jobs, fosters tourism, and makes communities more attractive places in which to live, learn, work, and play. Therefore, the community of Holyrood does hereby proclaim the month of June to be Recreation Month. Signed this 24th day of June 2025 by the town of Holyrood, and I'll be honored to sign this on your behalf. Done. Okay, so I'm just going to say a few brief words, and if anybody else would like to chime in and to add to that, feel free. As we're all aware, recreation is certainly a component of, that makes the fabric of our community. And I got to say, and I think we all agree, and our community will agree, we have some tremendous recreation facilities and tremendous programs and events that we have throughout the year. Basically, always something for somebody, people of all ages. Nobody's left behind. And I've often said here, as you know, from time to time, when it comes to developing recreation programs and putting off certain recreation events and everything else, these things just don't happen. It requires a lot of planning, a lot of effort, a lot of coordination. It requires a lot of work behind the scenes by many, including our staff. Our public works staff plays an integral role, especially like during Squid Fest, maintaining our trails outside, our boardwalk, our council recreation committee, they're there as support for Kyle, our recreation coordinator, and it's a collective effort on all of our behalf. And as time moves forward, I'm sure the town will continue to grow and enhance our recreation amenities and facilities and programs within the town of Holyrood. But so far, I think that residents in the community feel very proud of all the facilities we have, whether it's walking trails, the boardwalk, we have George Cove Mountain, Murray's Peak, right here in a recreational hub. We have the softball field, which is now undergoing new lighting installation, which a lot of people are really excited about. First-class soccer facility, the playground, Holy Cross Park, and the list goes on and on. But again, like I just said, Carl can bring all this together with the programming, like with the soccer program, the Camp Ahoy. All of this is recreation-oriented. And our seniors, they're always out and about, and it's all coordinated through, a lot of it is coordinated through recreation and supported by recreation. But in order for our facilities to keep up to a certain standard and a certain level. It requires the efforts of our public works staff. So without repeating myself, it's a collective effort by all. I'm proud of you all. I'm proud of our community for where we're to today with our recreation facilities and our programs. And kudos to all. My voice is a little bit dry tonight. So if there's anybody else would like to make any further comments.
Well, I guess there's not a whole lot more that I could say that the mayor haven't just touched on, but I just want to, second everything that he said. Like, the work of Public Works and Kyle and his team is phenomenal. Like, you have to think about this is a relatively small community if you look at it across Newfoundland and Labrador, and we have everything here from mini movers to this little tiny age to our seniors. We have covered everything. And a lot of people look at recreation as being, well, that's only a bit of sports, but it's great for developing of the young minds, for teamwork, cooperation, building relationships with friends. It's also great for your mental health, getting out, walking. Like, I walk that boardwalk pretty much every night, and the amount of people that are down there that are just walking and taking it in. George's Cove Mountain, for the days that I feel a little bit more rambunctious, the amount of people that are up there are phenomenal. So again, I want to just reiterate everything that the mayor said. It's kudos to the whole community that's here. Looking at the weather now, like, I'm sure the swim park is going to be on bust as soon as it's opened, which I'll touch base on in a couple of minutes' time. But again, recreation is huge. Kudos to the town for all that they're doing for the size of the community. We have a phenomenal program. I don't know if
Here.
Councillor King would like to add anything, or she's all good? She's all set. She's all good. She's agreeing with all.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Tilley. My voice is a little bit better now. A little glass of water can go a long way. Okay, I will now call the meeting to order. The agenda is there before you. Can I have a motion to approve, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Tilley. All those in favour? Motion carried. Minutes of the meeting from May 27th. Are there any errors or omissions? Good. Business arising? Okay. We do have two pieces of correspondence, and they will be forwarded on to the appropriate committee to be dealt with at the appropriate time in an appropriate manner. Okay? Planning and development. And I will say, before the Deputy Mayor stands on her feet, we have quite a lot of resolutions here tonight, so you're going to do much talking, so you're going to give my voice a little break.
Good evening, everybody. The Planning and Development Committee, we met on June the 18th via Zoom with all committee members in attendance. 11 applications were reviewed at this meeting. We had 4 residential, 2 business, 2 subdivision, and 3 other. Of those 11, 6 were recommended for approval for motion this evening to all of council. The other 5 required some further information, either from legal, from our town planner, or just general information from the applicant. So the staff here are working on that, and will hopefully have the information we need to move these forward for the next planning and development meeting, before the next public meeting. There's no update on our town plan. That is still with provincial government. So what we'll do is, as soon as that is back, we will update the public on how we'll be moving forward with getting that passed. As Councillor Windsor is not here tonight, I'm going to move right in to the motions, Mayor, if that's okay.
You go right ahead.
So first and foremost, it's our permits. We have a permit listing. Be it resolved to table and approve the attached permit listing. 19 permits were issued from May 16th to June 18th, 2025. The numbers are permit number 05-0160-25 to 06-0178-25. and includes permits for residential build, commercial build, general repairs for residential and commercial, driveway development, property maintenance, demolition, accessory building, site preparation, and fence. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Further discussion?
Nope, a lot of various permits there.
Sure.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Motion is carried.
The next is for 366 Conception Bay Highway. It's for proposed crematorium. The zoning is town center. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations and the Development Regulations Amendment Number 9, 2019. This application is a discretionary use in the town center. The application was advertised. No comments were received by the deadline date, and therefore we didn't have to hold a briefing. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion? So we've done our due diligence, gone through the process, it was advertised, no feedback,
No comments received, no.
so we're all good.
Yep.
All those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried.
The next is for 36 Woodford Station. It is a home-based business. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved to approve the application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. This application as well is a discretionary use in the RMD zone. It was advertised. No responses were received by the deadline date. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried.
The next is for 636 Conception Bay Highway. The proposal is a residential build in the RMD zone. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
The next is another residential build in the RMD zone on 56 Stuffs Road. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? All those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried.
The next one is for 153 Conception Bay Highway. It's a proposed residential build with an apartment. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved to approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, or moved by Councillor Tilley, seconded by
Moved by me.
Councillor Bruce King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Motion is carried.
And the final one is a subdivision, phase one of a subdivision at 110, 116, and 122 Conception Bay Highway. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood conditionally approved the concept plan for subdivision phase one for 110, 116, and 122 Conception Bay Highway. This conditional approval is subject to the developer providing engineered plans and entering into a development agreement, both of which are to the satisfaction of the town. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Bruce King. Further discussion? So this is for a concept plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is the initial stages of the two-step program that we implemented with our subdivision bylaws.
Precisely. Okay, any further questions, comments? All those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried.
And that's it for planning and development, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to recreation and community events. Councillor Tilley, you're up.
Okay, it seems like I have a bit of a list here today, so it must be a good sign that summer has begun. So first of all, bit of past tense, I want to thank everybody that came out to do the 2-hour Tidy Town that we had there on June the 13th to 15th. Really, we had it over 2 days, but we were asking people to dedicate 2 hours. It was always said to me when I was young that many hands make light work, and I think that was true. The more people you get out, the more trash you can get picked up. It was actually phenomenal on how much was gathered. I hope next year to kind of spark some interest to get a whole bunch of more residents out and just to gather up some stuff and make our community as beautiful as we know it can be. In upcoming events, we have Canada Day that's coming now, July the 1st. So at 10 a.m., the Legion is hosting a Memorial Day ceremony at the Star of the Sea from 1 to 3. There will be at Holy Cross Swim Park. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. There's going to be swimming, face painting, bouncy castle. Something that I was always partial to was a bouncy castle. The Holyrood Fire Department Auxiliary will be having a barbecue, which is a great little fundraiser for the Holyrood Fire Department, so it'll be great to get out to support the local fire department. And as we see some signs around town, Squidfest is in the air. I've seen all kinds of posts on social media and a few signs up in the community, which I'm sure this year our beach party. Beach party. So as we know from previous meetings, this is going to be held now at our softball field, because of our renovations that are going on with our boardwalk, which is looking beautiful down there so far. They're really getting stuff developed down there. So everybody keep an eye to their mailbox, because the full details will be coming out very soon on all the events. And I must say, again, there's everything there for every age, from the library to the seniors to outdoor events to kids. It's a great variety for everybody for a week long. And of course, my favorite, fireworks in the end, pending we're allowed to have them. Registration is also up now for the 8-kilometer road race along with the beach party. So again, if you want to get your tickets, this is a great time to get out and get your tickets beforehand, especially for the Rudy 8-kilometer road race. You kind of got to get a little bit of preparation for that one. That's not one you're going to think of the last minute. So get registered for that one as soon as you can. We have our summer staff hired, and they began training last week. So some of the things, of course, that they'd have to go through the training for is the Camp Ahoy, for the Holy Cross Park, and the CBC soccer program. So again, we want to make sure that the students that are hired have all the knowledge and resources behind them that they can. So I think the Marjorie and the team are hard at work getting them trained. Camp Ahoy, majority of the weeks are full to capacity with a waiting list. Again, great program that everybody is eager to get to. It's an 8-week camp that's planning to have lots of fun exercises for outside, and make sure that even if it is a organized camp, they still have as much fun as they possibly can. The CBC soccer begins soon too. It's only around the corner on Monday, so we want to make sure that everything is ready for that. And of course, one of my things that is near and dear is the lighting is started on the softball field. I spent many of years in a softball field underneath the lights, and it's a great experience, and it's great to see it there. Again, you talk about Recreation Month. Is another thing, is a step forward for us that is huge, to be able to have softball games underneath the night lights. It really helps our time, especially when it gets into August and September, when our daylight is a little bit shorter. But other than that, did I miss anything? Nope. I'm good. Okay, that's a compliment when I get a nod from Councillor King. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that great update. Okay, now we'll move on to infrastructure and public works. So we have Councillor Sadie King. Your mic, Councillor King.
The first update, we didn't meet, but I do have some things here, just give it an update on. We put out a request for roof upgrades for the Fire Hall and the Heritage Building. No bids were received, so as a result, we've gone out to 4 companies to get quotes. They were due on the 20th of June, so a decision will be made on that within the next few weeks. Holy Cross Park is ready to go. The dam was installed between June 16th and 17th. And a lot of people are waiting for that to happen. CBCL has a permit to do 3 test wells to help with water stability and sustainability in the town. We know that the emergency water supply is a little bit on hold, so we're going to be doing some more test wells to see if they can supply more water. The sewer update project, the town is working with parties to get the oxidation ditch cleaned. Also working with Newfoundland Power to install lighting on the festival grounds. The project for the new tank that will be awarded, it has been awarded and probably starting within the fall, probably. Yeah. And work is progressing on time at the festival grounds, so it's great to see a lot of work going on down there. I know that they're on time. And we're also working on lighting at the softball field. And I think that's a great thing. We need that so badly. It's been in the works for years. And that's it for us.
Okay, thank you very much. And if anybody else, because we did not have an opportunity to meet because of the circumstances at the time, so if any councillor has any further questions relative to the points that Councillor King just gave, feel free to reach out to the committee, Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, or to the CAO or the Director of Public Works for further clarification. Okay, thank you. And now we'll move on to Economic Development. Deputy Mayor, you're up again tonight. And this is not your last.
Well, it's just a brief update from Economic Development. We met on June the 16th with our CAO, our Mayor Gooby, and myself in attendance. We reviewed 2 business applications that were already reviewed by our committee, but they needed to go out for discretionary use, which of course no comments came back on either. We sent it to planning and they were reviewed and motioned and approved earlier in our meeting this evening. The meetings that we have on a monthly basis, not we, I should say our CAO has with a representative from Marine Institute. That's part of our memorandum of understanding that we have with them. So it's a monthly meeting that we have. It's just basically information sharing on what's happening over there at the launch and, you know, what's happening with the town. So we can work together to get our messaging out, our combined messaging, and be able to know and move forward on our I guess, agreement that we have with them. Part of that would be we're partnering with them on a shared event in September for our business community, and that's going to bring together our business community here in Holyrood. It's going to we're going to try to invite anyone that comes in here to do business. You know, when we send out an RFP for something, those businesses or companies that come in and do some work, you know, we want to be able to reach out to any investors or developers that normally come in and have a conversation. And we also want to invite a COA and other government departments to be part of this. So it's a networking piece. It allows everyone to kind of show what we have here. It allows us to determine where, you know, the launch is going, you know, what they're doing on a local, national, international level on the services that they're providing. And we let our business community know what's happening so that they can be sure that they are going to be part of it. And if there are any gaps that we've identified, well, they can look to see, okay, well, maybe we can, you know, tweak our business a little bit and fill that gap. Or we can, you know, could be people there to say, okay, well, I would be interested in doing that in Holyrood. So it's a great opportunity for economic development for sure. The other thing that we're doing as well is a marketing piece. So we are working with Robot Marketing to develop a video on the town of Holyrood. So I'm sure that you've seen the ones that Clarenville, I think Clarenville has one out, and Conception Bay South has one out. And they're just little tidbits of, you know, probably 30 seconds, 60 seconds, just identifying what their town has to offer. And we want to do the same thing. It's something that we need to do. We need to market ourselves a little bit better, and that's one of the ways we're going to do that moving forward. So when that's completed, of course, we'll all have some input into what that's going to look like and how we're going to get it out there. Other than that, I believe that's it for economic development.
Thank you very much. And I'd just like to add that, you know, the mandate, or one of the mandates of the Economic Development Committee is to promote and encourage future growth, business growth and development within our community for the benefits of attracting more people to the community, providing long-term sustainable employment. It increases our tax base. There's many positives in increasing your commercial and business tax base. And while we will be doing that, as the Deputy Mayor just indicated, you know, I and we and our staff always recognizes and appreciate our current business community. You truly make a difference here in the community, and we certainly value being part of our community. And we will always recognize the businesses that we do have, and we're always here to work with our business community. And as the Deputy Mayor indicated on a couple of occasions, those who may be operating businesses and advertising their businesses, there's a lot of positives in coming up and speaking with the CAO, get your permit, and become part of the business community in the the business community here in town. So, okay, any other questions or comments on economic development? All right, we will now move on to public safety. We have Councillor Bruce King and Councillor Mabel Tilley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I start the public safety update, I just want to say something with regards to the video. First of all, I think it's a great idea, and I'll tell you the reason why. We have friends in Germany that live in Germany. They have been watching all the videos from Twillingate and those places about the icebergs. Guess where they're all coming in August? To Twillingate.
Twillingate.
Right? So these, and actually most of the stuff that's, and it absolutely does work, because with social media today, this stuff goes all over the world. It's just not here in Holyrood or St. John's or Newfoundland, but once people keep sharing those things, it goes everywhere, and it attracts people. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea.
And Councillor King, what constitutes a tourist is somebody who drives 25 kilometers or more.
Okay, I guess
Is considered a tourist.
okay, I guess I'll be a tourist because I'm going to Cape St. Mary's on Thursday.
Just a bit of info for you.
Yeah, actually, I mean, people, I mean, not to get off topic or anything, but people, if you look around, people come from all over the world to here, right? To see an ice cube or an iceberg, right? Or a whale. I mean, it is. You go to Gross Mourne. I mean, there's people that go to Gross Mourne from everywhere, from all corners of the world. But we just look at it, yeah, it's a big pile of hills and a few moose roaming around and stuff like that. But people pay a fortune, right? I mean, the closest thing I get to an iceberg is drink. But but it is. It's a great way to promote business. It's a great way to promote tourism. It's a great way to promote everything. Anyway, just to get back on subject, we did not have, and once I finish, I will turn it over to Councillor Tilley, and she'll finish off with any remarks that she may have. We did not have a public safety meeting for the month of June, but I just have a few points, and this keeps coming up all the time. It's with regards to forest fires. Badger just went through where they had to completely evacuate the town. This fire in particular was caused by lightning, which was an act of God, I guess. But most of the fires that are happening are not an act of God, are act of the types of people that are in this room. It's humans. So people need to be more careful of the cigarette butts, especially the people going along the sides of the road flicking out cigarette butts. It's unreal. Okay, and I know people are complaining about you can't have a fire, in the backyard, but would you sooner not have a fire in your backyard or have nothing left in your backyard? Right? I mean, everything burned to the ground. So people need to be conscious of that. and take extra precautions and listen to the people that are telling you what to do. Because I mean, the Department of Forestry and all these people, they're the experts, and the fire departments and stuff like that. The other one that's getting a lot of airtime lately is the dirt bikes and ATVs, right? And it's not just, yes, we do have a problem, and I'll be the first one to, but it's not a Holyrood problem. It's a province-wide problem, because if you, the other day I watched a video down in Pooch Cove of a guy going down the highway flying on one wheel, right? Same as out in Bonavista, the same here, the same everywhere. It's a problem everywhere. So, and it needs to be addressed, because the way things are going right now, it's an awful thing to say, but I think before the end of this summer, there's probably going to be either serious injuries or fatalities, right? The RCMP and the RNC are doing the best that they can, but there's only so much that they could, and I know it frustrates people, and it frustrates the people in this room as well, but there's only so much that the police can do, and there's only so much the towns can do. Because if somebody is not willing to stop, and they're on a dirt bike or they're on an ATV, and you're in a police car, what are you going to do? You can't chase them, and they don't chase them, and they know they don't chase them. So parents need to talk to their kids, and in some cases, kids need to talk to their parents, right? Because it's a two-way street. Now, I know there in the past couple of days, people have found nails and screws and stuff like that on the rail bed up here on Northside Road. That's only creating a bigger problem, because the whole idea of it is to try to keep people off the road onto the ATV trail. But if you start putting nails and screws and everything else on the ATV trail, where's everybody going to go? They're going to go back up on the road where we don't want them in the first place. And the other thing is, it's very dangerous for kids, because a lot of these kids do travel at an excess rate of speed. But if they get a blowout on their tires, that could turn into a tragedy. So we all need to be conscious of the fact that it is a problem. We all need to do our best to try to prevent the problem through education, through the police, through parents, through everything. And I think with everybody working together, we may be able to solve some of the problems. Schools are closed now, so as Councillor Tilley was saying, the swimming pool is open, the parks are open, the recreation facilities are open, more kids are out on the roads, more kids are out enjoying the summer, so people need to take their time and watch for kids, because a lot of times when they get on their bike or do stuff, they forget about the rest of the world. The world revolves around them and them only, and so we all need to be very, very careful. And the other one I'm going to bring up, because I seen it the other night on the news, is the Voyant Alert System. And I don't know how many people here watch CNN. The mayor does, because he's a news person. But did you watch the part about the CNN crew up on the roof doing in Tel Aviv, and all of a sudden their phone started beeping, right? Okay, and that was a warning. Every single person in the state of Israel has that hooked up to their phone. And it warns, not just because of what's going on now between them and Iraq, but it's an emergency system that every single person that has some kind of an electronic device subscribes to. Okay? So, and the same way with fires, Adams Cove was out there, people left with just what they had on their back. So people really need to hook up to this system and be part of the system, because it actually works, and it works very well. And it gives people a warning, and they should take the warnings on that. And I think that's all I have, and I will turn it over to Councillor Tilley. Thank you.
Could I, before you begin, Councillor Tilley, I'd just like to add an important point to that as well. First of all, regarding the Voyant, and especially since the fire bans were coming into effect for a certain period, and then they were lifted, and then the weather changed, and they were, I don't know how many residents that I've spoken to, and I'm sure you've all experienced it as well. I've spoken to many residents over the past couple of weeks, since they've been getting these phone alerts. And I tell you, residents are very pleased, and they really appreciate having that service, that information coming directly to them. And some people did reach out to me and say, how do I go about doing this? If they're absolutely not familiar with it. I said, all you have to do, phone the office, leave your name, give your cell phone number, and how you want your messages received. For the most part, people like to have it done through text because, if you're out about, and all of a sudden you get a text that comes in, ding, and you get your message instantaneously, rather than through email, which you may have to go home and you got to go in and look, right? So it's a very simple process. Just phone the front desk, leave your phone number and your cell number and how you want your messages and what kind of messages, some or all, alerted to. And the information, you don't have to go in and look for information. If there's a water main break or a leak at the last minute, you'll get your messages on void instantaneously. Comes right to you. Anyway, sorry about that, Councillor Tilley. Carry on.
No, it was a great valid point, and I'm a true lover of Voint Alert. Any alerting system for emergencies to me, I'm a true lover of, but Voint have turned out to be quite a system. I just wanted to add a little bit that Councillor King spoke about the forest fires this year. This year the forest fires, like the dryness and everything, is phenomenal. In my career life, I get, I don't know if the honour, privilege or task of being heavily involved with the evacuations of communities. And last week again, we spent the whole week evacuating a community that came this close to being a non-community. And I guess some of the after-action reports that I've sat in with that have came through is that, is a lot that residents can do to make their homes fire safe. We talk about forest fires and make sure you don't have your fire in the fire pits. And I've seen also a lot of feedback on social media about people saying, well, it's raining here, why do we have a fire ban? When you get the minister or deputy minister or premier get on and say there's a complete province fire ban, that is not due to humidity or dryness or wind, it's due to the fact that all the resources are in one area.
Exactly.
So if you have 3 water bombers, two helicopters drop in, and all your crew in central Newfoundland and Holyrood gets a fire, you're in trouble. So again, this is something that we shouldn't laugh at, it's something that we should heed to. Fires are huge now this year. Again, the fire analysis are saying that we are a month ahead of what we usually are, and this year is going to be really bad. Some of the things that came out of the after-action reports for making the community fire safe is basically for the residents to have a look at their home. If anyone drove through Adams Cove or seen any pictures of Adams Cove, the yards that were big yards with greenery all around, like their grass was mowed beautiful, those houses were standing. The houses that had the trees that came right up to the side of the house, had the big bushes and everything in front of their house, they were the ones that were mostly impacted. So a big thing is check your mulch that's in your front of your flower pots. A lot of people love mulch. I don't know if you actually know that mulch will actually spontaneously combust if the moisture is in it and it's dry enough. You're also putting dry wood around your house, so you have to think about that. If you have any windfalls or dead trees, it's a fine time to get a professional if you're not equipped properly to do it yourself, to remove some of the trees. Keep an eye to what's going on in your surroundings. I last week actually went through, as something that's near and dear to my heart, bushwhacking. So I love walking where people haven't walked before. And I done a little bit of walking in the backwoods of Holyrood and found two locations where people were having fires in the woods underneath the canopy. So again, I can't speculate why they were there, but I can say that there was a lot of garbage around and the fires were lit just on caribou moss with a lot of greenery overhead. That's a disaster waiting to happen, and is no other way to put it. Parents speak to their kids, talk about fire safe, talk about making sure that you realize, like, you're lighting a fire in the woods. It might only be a little teeny tiny fire, but speak from someone who watched people put out embers that were landing on their lawns last week. You need to make sure that you're fire safe. But again, go in under forestry, under the website, under the provincial government website. They'll give you some tips on how to be fire smart. But basically, just make sure you're cut back a few trees. Make sure deadfalls are gone. Don't keep wooden garbage and stuff around the front of your house. And for those gardeners, I'm sorry if I ruined your idea of having mulch everywhere, but just think about it. Mulch is dry wood you're letting in front of your house. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I want to add. Anything else that we talked about?
There is a program. I think there is a program that the government just announced for towns to access funding with regards to fire prevention within their communities. It hasn't come out yet, but they're in the process of announcing it now. So maybe that might something, I'm sure the CAO will be on top of that like we wouldn't believe. But it is, and it's a great way to better everybody's knowledge with regards to fire and fire safety. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, folks. Some very important points indeed. Okay, with that, we will now move on to communications. Deputy Mayor, you're up again.
Well, this is Councillor Crawley's task, but she's doing another task tonight, so it's handed over to me. So the update from communications, we did not meet since the last public meeting. However, there's just a couple of things. We've just talked about Voyant. The Voyant rollout, it was slow at first, but it's progressed along quite well. Since our last, I think the last public meeting, Laura announced it was like 200, 300 people that were signed up. We now, as of the update that Kyle provided to us, 1,070.
Wow, excellent.
So
excellent.
we're very, yes. So because we had a student that was hired on for a work term for a few weeks, and part of her role was entering all of those into the system. So 1,070 were entered into the system, and I'm sure there's more since then. So great news for Voyant, great news for our community. People realize the importance of it, and we'll continue as a communications committee to support that, to encourage all residents to sign up for the Voyant alert system. And, you know, part of what we do as well, or what we support, is our social media campaign. So, you know, Councillor King just talked about ATV, you know, safety, ATV and dirt bike safety. And so part of what we're planning on doing, and you'll probably have seen it already, is some education on ATV use on our social media site. So that is going to be a campaign that is going to be run all summer long. And it's going to be different messaging, but it's consistent messaging. It's going to be, this is you know, this is all about ATV safety, but we are also going to try to educate our youth, educate parents as well, and adults on the legislation behind, you know, road use, or be able to use these off-road vehicles on the road, as well as the laws around ATV use and what happens when you're non-compliant. You know, I think all of that information needs to get out to our public, to educate our public, because I think if everyone realized what was actually involved in what happens if you're non-compliant with ATV and dirt bike safety, then they'd be more cognizant of what's happening around them, and not, you know, the whole goal is to reduce the issues that we're having right now. I don't think it's ever going to eliminate it, but to reduce it and to provide education and communication, and that's what we are going to continue to support through the committee. It's the same thing, you know, you talked about the fire safety, so that's probably something as well that we can put a link on our site to the Fire Smart, so that people can look at that. And it was a good piece there to identify, because I hear the same thing. We have a fire pit, we can't use it. This is what the whole summer is going to be like. But when you realize why it's a provincial-wide fire ban, that makes you think certainly about that little not having a fire tonight. But so it's great. Other than that, there's nothing else for communications. other than the motions that we have. Most of the motions that we have tonight in communications surround the upcoming municipal election. There's one that we will continue to have on at every public meeting, which will be the motion to accept committee reports. That's going to be a consistent motion that we'll put forward. So be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood accept the committee updates and recommendations as presented in the committee reports provided by the various departments and made available to all councillors for consideration. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion?
So basically, that just states that not every committee, unless you met, provided a report in a package that we all received, and we all had the opportunity to review it, and if we had any questions, we could certainly ask each other or the directors that information, and it allows us then for it to be part of the minutes of the meeting, of the public meeting.
Okay. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
So the next motion, be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood will hold a separate election for the position of mayor at the October 2nd, 2025 municipal election. If there are several candidates for this position of mayor after nomination day, a separate ballot for mayor will be available for residents to vote for this position on their council. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Further discussion? All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood designate September 9th and 10th as nomination days for the 2025 municipal election, being held October 2nd, 2025. The nomination period for both these days will be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The nomination process will be posted on the Town of Holyrood's website for easy access for interested residents. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Bruce King. Further discussion? So in past elections, we had one nomination day from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. So after consideration by council and some input from staff, we collectively agreed that it would be a good idea to go 2 separate days, for the most part during the working hours, because some people could be out of town on one particular day, and by going 2 days, and if they're back, then they can make arrangements to come up and get nominated. So it gives more of an opportunity for more people to be able to, if they're considering getting nominated, they'll have two days in order to avail of that if they're gone on one particular day. So that's a change from past, but I think we all agreed it's a good idea. Okay, that was moved and seconded. Okay, all those in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood appoint Marie Searle as the alternate, skipped over one. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood designate Marjorie Gibbons as returning officer for the 2025 municipal election being held October 2nd, 2025. The legislation directs the town to assign the clerk as returning officer. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Bruce King. Further discussion? All those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried.
Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood appoint Marie Searle as the alternate returning officer. An alternate is required by legislation to ensure the election activities continue in the event the returning officer is unable to fulfill his or her duties. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried.
Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood sets $100 as the highest limit for individual contributions to any one candidate during the municipal election, and all such donations and contributions must be declared by all candidates at the end of the election. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion? Not. All those in favor? Those against, motion is carried.
And finally, be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood will conduct an automatic recount of votes in a case where 10 votes or less separate two candidates and only one of which can hold a remaining seat. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Further discussion? All those in favour? Councillor Munn, motion is carried.
And that's it for communications, Mayor.
And I will say that some of those motions here was always normal, standard practice in past elections, but through the province, there's been some legislative changes and requirements for municipalities in how they make these decisions, and it has to be done in the form of motions, which we've just completed. Correct? Okay. Now we'll move on to corporate service and administration. Who's going to pay the bills? I guess Councillor King, in the absence of Councillor Crowley, you're going to pay the bills tonight. Not by the look of this report tonight.
Fake news. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We did not have a corporate services meeting this week, or this month, but I will there is an update. With regards effective as of June of this year, 2025, the collection, property taxes right now is at about 74.78%.
Wow.
This is good since some residents are on the 8-month plan and the last one doesn't come due till August. Okay, so it's really good. Water and sewer tax is at 64.64%, and the same thing applies to that one as well. It's on an 8-month plan, and the last one being in August.
Good.
Business tax is at 76.90%, which is really good, and personal taxes is at 70.31%. Fire services is coming in, but it was a little bit slow getting started, but I think as we move forward into the next couple of months, we'll see a definite increase in the amount of money that's coming in with regards to fire services. So everything is, we're on a good financial footing, and everything should be good by the end of this fiscal year. That's all I have for that one particular there. And I do have one motion I can carry on.
Sure.
The motion is to be it resolved that those accounts tabled in the amount of $229,186.39, check numbers D4810 to D4865 and 47059 to 47162, be approved for payment from the general accounts. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Bruce King, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Further discussion? If not, all those in favour, those against, motion is carried.
And we have a bank book, sorry, it sounds like Walmart. We have a bank book balance of 94 cents. No. Oh, sorry, typo. We have a bank book balance of $297,869 and 94 cents. Thank you.
There you go. 297,000 is, yep. It's a good financial position to be in this time of the year, for sure. Okay, now we'll do new business, and I'll start to go around with the Deputy Mayor.
I don't have much to say. I said enough tonight already, eh? No, I just wanted to just to reiterate that, of course, school is closing, and there's going to be lots of kids out and about. Hope they have a safe and happy summer, and just be aware, all of our motorists on the road, where the kids are. And our July 1st celebrations, come out to that.
You
Yeah.
need a wreath.
Pardon me, yeah, we that's Memorial Day, and in the morning, we're celebrating that, and then in the afternoon, we'll celebrate Canada Day. So invite all the public to come out to that event as well at Star of the Sea. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Councillor King.
The Deputy Mayor took some of it. Sorry. But I just want to reiterate with regards to what the Deputy Mayor said. You know, the first part of July 1st is Memorial Day. And last year in particular, we brought home the unknown soldier. So people should get out to cenotaphs and war memorials all across the province and pay their respects. And then after 12 o'clock, celebrate Canada Day. And that's the way it should be. The other part is, because we just finished talking about elections, which is on October the 2nd. The Make Your Mark campaign is still ongoing. It'll start to gear up even to a higher pitch as we get closer and closer to October 2nd. And people should get out and vote. People should also get out and, run for different positions. And that, because I know there's been a lot of talk about certain things, about elections and stuff like that. But this province here, believe it or not, has the lowest turnout of any province in the country with regards to any type of election, whether it be federal, provincial, or municipal. And in us in particular, when we came to council in 2021, how much campaigning did we have to do? Right? We didn't have to do any campaigning. We have 2,500 people in Holyrood, but we never had enough people running for council to have an election. So that's not really, in my opinion, that's really not good, right? And especially when you look at countries around the world that are willing to die to be able to have the right to vote. And some countries around the world don't give their citizens the right to vote. So, people should get out and exercise the right to vote, and they should also exercise the right to be on, whether it be municipal or whatever, different types of government. And the last one, July 6th, with regards to the museum. The museum so far this year is having a fantastic year. They're having people coming in from all over the world, the same as the iceberg. We don't have icebergs, but we got the museum. So people should get out to see it. The Jerry Squires Gallery is going to open on July 6th, and then the entire exhibits will be open to the public on July 9th. So get out and enjoy everything, what Holyrood has to offer, and you won't be disappointed. Thank you.
And I'm delighted to say that I've received an invitation on behalf of council that myself and the Premier, as well as the Squires family, will actually be at the museum, at the Jerry Squires Gallery, which is upstairs in the museum. Absolutely phenomenal to see. I'd encourage everybody to come and see what is there. You will get goosebumps. I kid you not. There's a video out now that was done by Todd Chief, who's also an artist and does phenomenal work. But the process that day, from what I understand at this point, is that myself and the Premier, as well as the Squires family, will be actually at the gallery, and the public will be invited and are encouraged to attend over at the Star, and it's going to be on big screen because obviously that day, and as you just said and pointed out, there's going to be well-known artists and painters and everything else, photographers from all national and international at that event. And they cannot wait for that opportunity and be part and be there for that occasion. So myself and the Premier and the family, the Squires family, will cut the ribbon, and you'll see it all on the big screen, and then everybody will congregate back to the Star to join the rest of the group. But we anticipate the Star is going to be blocked that day, and there's going to be people coming, like Bruce mentioned earlier, Councillor King mentioned earlier about tourists over in different countries. They're going to be here from all over the world. So it's going to be an exciting day in the town of Holyrood. And I'd encourage everybody to come out and join at the Star to be part of this very special occasion, because the world knows who Jerry Squires was, and the contribution he made and the stories he told is just phenomenal. And he lived here for years, very quietly, as a very private individual, and did his worldwide work right on the south side of Holyrood. So we're all amazingly proud of him and his family. Okay, Councillor Tilley.
I just wanted to add one little note that I forgot with the recreational. I was up to the dog park over the weekend, and the hustle and bustle that's going on there at the community garden was phenomenal. And the job was just an outstanding job of doing a little bit of upkeep to that this year. The new fencing, and it just looks so much more inviting. I just wanted to do a little shout out to the CAO for getting that on the go, and for Public Works for making such a good job of it. But it's really inviting up there now, and the little facelift on it really was remarkable, and seeing the people up working on their beds and the hustle and bustle was truly wonderful. Again, getting outside, getting your hands dirty. As the Councillor Woodford said, the Deputy Mayor said, it's the end of the year for kids. It's summer. It's time for everybody to be outside, get a bit of sun on them, get outside, enjoy our beautiful community that we have. I know I absolutely love when it takes me an hour to walk the boardwalk because there's so many people down there. I think my dog also loves it too because she gets lots of rubbish on the head. But again, it's beautiful to get outside. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the Capelin will be around soon. That'll dry in a few more.
And Wally the Whale will be back
Wally the
for...
Whale's already been here.
He's been here?
He's been here.
Because
So-
he brings in the capelin, Chase the capelin, and the
Yeah,
cod,
I
and
think the
everything
Capelin
else,
brings
every
him, but
species.
Same thing, yep. But again, when that happens, please be traffic safe, because when the Capelin comes in down there on that beach, it is phenomenal the amount of people that are down there. Again, that's the nice. Takes me 2 hours to walk the boardwalk. Am I forgetting something? Fishing season opens this weekend. Thank you. Good point. I knew that. So again, you're going to hear it from me. You're going to be so sick and tired of hearing it from me. If anybody ever thinks that they can put a life jacket on their boat after they fall out, I will challenge them to try. In a safe environment, because I have tried, just to prove points, when I've been doing safe boating demonstrations throughout the years with kids. You might think you're a good swimmer. You might think that the water was really nice. But I challenge you to try to put your life jacket on after you fall out of your boat. Get that water out of your lungs first, and then try to put your life jacket on. So just a little heat of advice. Your life jacket is not meant to be a seat cushion. It's meant to be on. Save lives, wear your life jacket. And again, going out recreational cod fishing is a fun event for people. It's not a time to take that cooler of beer. So be very cautious of what you're doing. There's a lot of people out there. Make sure you're safe, and make sure you give that boat a little try around the harbor before you decide to go out across the bay. So again, be safe. Thank you, CAO, for that reminder. As you can tell, I'm an inland person, not an ocean person.
And the water, the wind conditions can change, as we all know, within minutes here. It can be calm once you go out in the open water. It could be a beautiful morning, and all of a sudden, 2 hours went by, and all of a sudden the wind is picking up, but there's a lot of cod out there. Councillor Sadie King would know. She's had to been out there enough. And coming back, you could have loppy water conditions. That's a very good point. Make sure you have that life jacket on. You can have them on now that you don't even know they're on. And you know that if anything happens, pull the cord and you're good. You can't do it when you're in the water after the fact. It's not going to happen. And I don't know if it's called Willie the Whale or Wally the Whale. He's been called both. Thank you for that very good point. And now we'll... Nothing from, say, Councillor King. You can wrap it up. Okay, that is the agenda for tonight. And the date of the next meeting is July 22nd at 6 p.m. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. All those in favour? Meeting is adjourned.